Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to the Lesson 7 Read Aloud. We are going to be talking about a new body system today. But before I do that, I want you to think about how the skeletal system and the muscular system are interconnected. How are they related? How do they work together? What is the difference between voluntary and involuntary muscles? And can you name some examples of each? So the system you're going to learn about today is the system that controls all the other body systems. So let me get my spot here. So take a look at Ricardo's t-shirt, and what do you see on his shirt? That's his brain. We're going to learn about the nervous system today. Stand up. I want you to stand up and stretch with me a moment before we begin. So stand up, stretch, stretch, and then put your hands on your hip bones and bend forward as far as you can. Go as far as you can, bending like that. Now straighten back up slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Now I'm ready to get started. Are you? As you sit back down again, think about the body system you used to move just now. Did you use your skeletal system? You bet. How about your muscular system? Absolutely. Your muscles help move your bones when you stood up and bent down. But how did your muscles move? What told them what to do? Your brain. And your brain is part of a very important system. Does anyone remember what that system is called? The nervous system. The nervous system is your body's command system, the one that sends orders to all parts of your body. It is your communication system carrying messages that control all other systems. Without these central controllers, none of your body's other functions would happen. Your brain is a soft mass of tissues protected by your skull, a rigid helmet-like structure of bones encasing the brain. The spinal cord, the main nerve pathway between your brain and the rest of your body, looks like a long, thick rope. It extends from the base of your skull or brainstem down to your tailbone. Stretching down the back, this rope-like cord weaves its way through openings in your back's bony vertebrae. Your spinal cord is protected by your spinal column, this flexible column of vertebrae. Why do you think it's important that the vertebrae of the backbone protect the spinal cord? Well, the spinal cord is very important because that sends messages from your brain to the rest of your body. So it's very, very important. So there you can see the brain. You can see the spinal column right here. And you can see the things going off of the spinal column that are able to send messages to the rest of your body. Nerve network. A network of nerves links your brain and spinal cord to muscles and sense organs all over your body. Each nerve is a bundle of fibers, tiny thread-like cells encased in thin, fatty tissue. These bundles of specialized cells carry messages to and from the brain. These messages travel faster than the blink of an eye. Some nerve cells collect messages from your brain and carry them to your muscles. This is what happened when you stood and bent over a few minutes ago. You consciously controlled your own actions with your brain. First, you made the conscious decision to stand, and your brain received that decision. Then, electrical signals were sent out from your brain along nerve fibers to your muscles, telling them to tighten or contract. For every movement that you make, your brain coordinates the timing of muscle contractions, telling your muscles when to tighten, how much to tighten, and for how long. Your nervous system works with your bones and muscles to follow your brain's commands. That is really amazing to me, boys and girls, and it makes me really appreciate my brain. And it's like a computer working all the time to make my body work. So remember, as you're listening to this read aloud, at the end, you're gonna go back and answer the discussion question about something that you learned today in the read aloud. So you might want to write some things down as you're learning them, or remember. So next, we're going to talk about 5 senses. Some nerve cells collect messages from parts of your body and from your environment and the world around you. These nerve cells are called receptors. Receptors collect messages through your eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Each of your 5 senses works with your brain to help you understand the world around you. Eyes pick up light and color and send pictures to your brain to help you see. Ears pick up vibrations from sound waves, carrying them to the brain to help you hear. Sensory cells in the nose react to chemicals in the air, sending messages to the brain to help you smell. Cells on the tongue react to chemicals in food, sending signals to the brain to help you taste. Receptors in your skin detect many different sensations, alerting your brain and spinal cord to feelings of pain, heat, cold, pressure, and touch. Many times, nerve signals pass through both your brain and spinal cord, but not always. Have you ever touched a hot iron or a hot pot on the stove? What happened? Most likely, you jerked your hand away from the heat very quickly, almost unconsciously. The nerves in your fingers sent signals to your spinal cord, but this time you did not need your brain at all. Your spinal cord sent a message to your arm muscle, telling them to contract and pull back. This super quick reaction to an emergency situation is called a reflex action because the body acts automatically, without thinking. Some of you may remember being at the doctor's office for a checkup when the doctor or nurse tapped your knee gently with a hard rubber tool called a plexor. Other common reflex actions are flinching and sneezing. Because a nerve is made up of many cells, nerves can send many messages at once. Each nerve cell sends its own messages through the nerve. You've learned that some nerve cells collect messages from the brain, whereas others collect messages from the environment. Still, other nerve cells collect messages from inside your body. Inside the human body, the brain and spinal cord work together day and night, coordinating many activities that we don't really think about too often. For example, your breathing is controlled by the central nervous system. What the cerebellum does. Say that with me, cerebellum. Hundreds of billions of microscopic cells are sending messages that go dashing about your body at amazing speeds every second. Many of these cells are bundled up inside nerves, the body's wiring. You can see those here. These nerves branch out in all directions. So right here, they're branching out in all directions, carrying tiny electrical chemical signals from your brain and spinal cord to the tips of your fingers and toes, to the inside of your eyes and ears, and to every other part of your body. Some nerves are much thinner than a strand of hair. Others are as thick as a bungee cord. All have an important part to play in the nervous system's non-stop communication process. The nervous system processes almost everything you do. It helps you laugh and scratch your chin. It helps you run and walk and swim. It lets you scream with anger and shout for joy. It lets you smell tomato soup simmering on the stove, hear squirrels rustling in the leaves, and see a brilliant sunrise peeping over the hill. Thank your nervous system for that tingling feeling that you get when you jump into a cold stream, or the instant pain you feel when you prick your finger on a rose's thorn. Whether you are 2 or 92, your nerves are a central part of everything you do. Next time, we'll look more closely at your body's main control center, the brain. But let's pause for a riddle before I go. I am called a bone, but I am really a nerve. My name suggests that I have a sense of humor. What am I? Anybody know? Funny bone. Ricardo bumping his funny bone. Give up? I'm the funny bone. Does anyone know where the funny bone is located? It is a vulnerable nerve at the end of the elbow bone. If you hit that nerve at the end of your elbow, the nerve sends a tingly feeling up the rest of your arm. If you injure your funny bone, the result is anything but funny. It can be very painful, causing numbness in your forearm and hand. So, as it turns out, the funny bone is not only not funny, but it's not a bone at all. Be careful the next time you're wrestling with your friends. You won't be laughing if you hit your funny bone. Well, I'll be back next time to tell you more about your body's command center. Can you guess what I mean when I say command center? See you later. Boys and girls, don't forget to answer your discussion question to tell me at least one thing you learned.